All right, today we are tackling something we all face, making those huge, tough, life-altering choices. We're going to break down a really powerful framework, drawing on some great insights from Mel Robbins to help you stop overthinking and finally start trusting yourself. So let's just start with a number. 35,000. Yeah, you heard that right. Some studies estimate that's how many decisions you make every single day. I mean, from what to wear to what to eat, your brain is just constantly choosing a path. Now look, most of those choices are pretty small, right? They're no-brainers. But every now and then, one single decision comes along that has the power to change your entire future. And that's exactly why learning how to make these big calls with real confidence is probably one of the most important skills you could ever build. So here's our game plan for how to do that. We're going to walk through this four-part framework. First, we'll tap into your inner compass. Then we'll figure out the difference between gut feelings and just overthinking. We'll also tackle why the right choice can sometimes hurt so much. And finally, we're going to totally reframe what it even means to make a so-called bad decision. Okay, first up, let's talk about that feeling in your gut. You know exactly the one I'm talking about. We're going to dig into why it's so much more than just some vague hunch. It's actually a pretty incredible part of your body's intelligent design.
So your intuition, it's not some kind of mystical, magical force. It's a real, biological guidance system. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like an internal GPS. It's been hardwired in you since birth and then programmed by every single life experience you've ever had. It's always on, always giving you these little directional signals to keep you on your right path.
And you know, your body has this amazing built-in alarm system. When you feel stuck or frustrated or sad or just totally disconnected, these aren't character flaws. Not at all. They are signals. It's your inner compass telling you, hey, pay attention. Maybe it's time to change direction. Okay, so if your body has all this wisdom, where does your logical brain fit into the picture? Well, it's not about choosing one over the other. The real key is knowing which tool to use for which job. Let's break down their different roles. Here is the absolute simplest way to think about it. Your gut? It sets the destination. It answers the big question of what you need to do. Your brain? Well, your brain is the navigator. It handles all the planning and strategy, the when and the how of actually getting there. But here's a really crucial step. Before you use either of those tools, it is vital that you get quiet. Research shows that when you're all stressed out or afraid, your brain just defaults to the path of least resistance, which is not always the right path. To make a clear choice, you have to let your emotions settle down first. Okay, but let's be real. What about those truly agonizing decisions? You know the ones where deep down you know what's right, but you are just terrified of the fallout, of the hurt feelings, the conflict, all of it. I mean, just listen to this gut-wrenching situation from a listener of Mel Robbins' podcast. This guy was just weeks away from his wedding, and his gut was screaming at him that he was making a massive mistake. He knew the truth, but he was completely paralyzed by the consequences. And this right here, this is the core conflict, isn't it? The difficulty for him wasn't about knowing the truth. He knew it. The real challenge, the mountain he had to climb, was finding the courage to handle the aftermath of acting on that truth. Think of your most powerful emotions, that fear, that guilt, that worry, as a blinding rainstorm. You can't see the road ahead, right? But you'd still trust your GPS to guide you forward. Your intuition is that GPS. You just have to learn to trust it to navigate you through that storm. All right, and that brings us to our final and maybe most important point. We're going to completely reframe the entire concept of decision-making. This is all about dropping the fear of getting it wrong and replacing it with trust in yourself. So, what if a decision wasn't this final verdict on your life? What if it wasn't about pass or fail? Imagine every single choice you make is just a data point. Its only job is to give you new information that will help you make your very next move. Look at this example of taking the wrong job. The decision itself was practical, right? You got to pay the bills. But the gut signal on day one was just undeniable. Now that sinking feeling, that wasn't a sign of failure. No way. It was powerful data. It was the critical piece of information needed to pivot and eventually build a career that was the right fit. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. Building true confidence in your life isn't about being perfect or never making a mistake. It's about building a fundamental trust in your own resilience. It's about knowing deep down that no matter what comes next, you can handle it.
So, as we wrap this up, let's make it personal. I want you to think about that one decision you've been avoiding. You know the one. Just get quiet for a moment. What is your inner compass telling you? Because the answer is already there. Your only job is to find the courage to listen.